How are you doing? My name is Brian Young, and this is my Code Mesh assignment on the basis of dominant language ideology. So right now, as we open this multimedia presentation, you're greeted with images of an actual construction site. Now, you might be asking yourself, what on earth could this ever have to do with dominant language ideology? But really, in essence, I feel like it captures what dominant language ideology could mean to America, and that is either as a standing point for us as Americans, individually and together, to either work together or to be divided. Do our accents divide us? Do they bring us together? Functionality wise, do they cause us to have stronger bonds, or do they just promote confusion? In Young's paper, Should Writers Use Their Own Language? He uses a very satirical language and thought process to bring home a very solid point. If we don't standardize our language, can you really communicate effectively? And I think that in essence, that's what Young paper really suggests. So, what catastrophic text bring home the idea of dominant language ideology to me personally? Well, first, I'm going to go over the very obvious political and social impacts that dominant language poses to each and every one of us as students, as teachers, as functioning members of society. Next, I'll go into my business life. Obviously, I'm in the construction industry, as you can tell by many of my presentations and past works. I believe that my industry very well represents the dominant language ideology and that the various people that my industry represents. Now, please follow me as I go through the depths of dominant language ideology and what it could mean to us as a whole in the form of catastrophic text. As we open this presentation, we're greeted with a giant map of accents. This map represents us at the very heart of what we are as Americans. But does this cause us to come together, or is it just causing a giant game of telephone? Can we communicate effectively? Should we become the salad bowl or the mixing pot that we're so traditionally categorized as? Does this cause strife politically? Does this cause us to come together, or does it separate us? I believe at the heart of this, my belief is that it does separate us, that no matter what, it really makes us come apart. Will we ever be able to change this giant landscape of accents we have? I believe the next video shows.
That I'm sure you all watched and you all enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe so you can see all of our episodes. But that episode brought us to another question. If we no longer have a British accent, us Americans here in America must have an accent, right? Well, kind of. Like most countries, accents and dialects change regionally, and with the United States being so big and known for being a country of immigrants, it's no different here. Let's start with the big picture. In 2013, Long Island University identified 24 different regions of American English. This includes big areas like the Rocky Mountains, Upper Midwestern, and Coastal Southern, but also very small areas like San Francisco Urban, Boston Urban, and Bonac, which is a dialect spoken on part of Long Island, New York. But we can go even more specific than those 24 regions. In fact, the state of Pennsylvania has 5 distinct dialects within its borders. They speak differently in Philadelphia than they do in Pittsburgh, and people in south central Pennsylvania speak something called the Susquehanna dialect. Areas closer to New York sound more like New York accents, and the areas closer to West Virginia have more of an Appalachian twang. This kind of variation can also be seen in Louisiana, specifically in New Orleans with the Yat dialect. And now I'm going to throw a curveball into this whole American accent thing. There were and are some people in America who grew up not speaking American English at all. And I'm not talking about people from other countries speaking their native language. I'm talking about distinct American languages that evolved from other languages. There is Pennsylvania Dutch, Chinekwawa, spoken in the Pacific Northwest, Gullah in the areas of South Carolina and Georgia, and Texas Silesian, which is still spoken in parts of Texas. And of course, we can't forget about the numerous different languages of America's indigenous population. Clearly, there is not one American accent. The typical one you hear on television or in the movies can probably be traced back to General American, sometimes called Network English. General American is said to be the most neutral of the American dialects and is found mostly in what is known as the Rust Belt. It's the accent a British actor might train themselves on when playing an American. So next time someone asks if you can talk in an American accent, give them a bit of Boston Brahmin or some Southern twang or something maybe nice like a Michigan Yooper dialect, eh? Because, each one of those is just as American as any other. And if you're curious about when Americans lost their British accent, check out this episode here.
The United States accent was decidedly different from that of our English cousins. It seems the separation of accents is as much a result of what happened in the UK as in the US.
And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
In closing, it's kind of hard to tell. Will we ever be able to shed this individuality that I believe pulls us apart? I think we need to. I think it could cause us to backslide into a time where we truly were divided, where we bled as a country. We need to come together. Band is one, even at the level of language. We need to come together as Americans, one and as a whole. My texts show that not having a standardized language and having multiple dialects bring us apart. That's the one thing that all these images share, that we need to come together. That especially in times like now, with the world as volatile as it is, we need to stand as one.